I don't know you guys, but what I said yesterday about the Xfinity race, all those thoughts I had about Homestead being the best 1.5 mile track, all those thoughts were amplified after I watched the Cup race on Sunday. That Cup race was amazing. He got a little bit of everything, a lot of tire strategies, a lot of new faces running up front. Of course, a lot of comers and goers, like guys that were doing good in stage 1 were nowhere to be found in stage 2 or even stage 3. And even some pit strategy or fuel mileage, not really fuel mileage, but tire strategy coming towards the end of the race for some of the mid-pack drivers. It was actually pretty entertaining all around. And then again, we have to ask, is Homestead the best 1.5 mile track? Yes, it is. Homestead is by far the best 1.5 mile track, at least for now. But I hope even if Homestead is not the best 1.5 mile track, I hope it's because another 1.5 mile track rises up to take its spot from it. It's just that I don't want Homestead to be worse. Homestead is a great track as is. For once, this 550 horsepower package worked. For once, I don't know if it will work for the other 1.5 mile tracks, but for Homestead, it actually works pretty well. Of course, towards the end, it went kind of a little. Of course, towards the end, the guy who won the race ended up getting a huge lead. But I mean, there were a few guys out there that could have challenged him for the lead if they had just more speed, a little more speed to start the race. So, anyways, my fantasy lineup took a hit because I had Denny Hamlin. My fantasy lineup consisted of Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch. There was also Joe Logano and Chase Elliott. Like, those were the 5 guys that I had on my fantasy lineup. Of course, I also had Tyler Reddick as my garage guy, but I ended up not using him for the race because at the end of stage 2 he was running like below the top 20, and Austin Dillon was running like top 10, top 5. It was like, what the hell is this? I thought that Tyler Reddick was supposed to be running top 5 and Austin Dillon was supposed to be the mid-pack guy, not the other way around. Like, I don't know why is one of the best drivers at Homestead, a guy that has won back-to-back Xfinity championships by winning at Homestead, is struggling. Somebody that finished 4th in the Cup race at Homestead in his first ever Cup Series start at Homestead. I don't know why he's struggling so much. And then Tyler Reddick's car came to life and he made up like 10 seconds in the final 18 laps at Homestead. And I am angry not only because I didn't have him on my fantasy lineup, but also because I picked him as my winner's pick. I had Tyler Reddick as my winner's pick. I figured with Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell winning, being first-time winners and all that, I thought that Tyler Reddick was going to win at Homestead. And of course, I am pretty happy that my winner's pick ended up finishing 2nd. That's still a good result for me. I'm going to take that, but I am kind of angry that Reddick didn't win because I kind of predicted him to be my winner's pick. And of course, due to the fact that his car came to life and he could have very easily beaten William Byron, caught William Byron and passed him if he had like 10 more laps. If this race just had 10 more laps, then I believe that Reddick would have caught Byron and won this race. But I digress. 2nd place for my winner's pick. I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna take that regardless. So yeah, my fantasy lineup was atrocious. Michael McDowell. How about Michael McDowell, man? He finished 6th, and he has started the season with 3 straight top 10s. 3. As of right now, McDowell is the only driver, aside from Kevin Harvick, I believe. I believe that McDowell and Harvick are the only 2 drivers to finish a race to finish all the first 3 races in the top 10. I may or may not be forgetting somebody else, but if I forget another, if there's another guy out there that has finished top 10 in every race, then I'm going to I'm gonna be looking. It's gonna be a bad look for me. In fact, I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna check this out. I normally do not do this when I'm making these videos, but I really want to fact check this to make sure that nobody else has finished in the top 10, because I don't want to miss anyone's name here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so while we're talking about that, yeah, Michael McDowell, 3 straight races starting in the top 10. A lot of people, when he won the Daytona 500, many people said that, oh great, Michael McDowell, he's gonna be an easy run of 16 exit. The playoffs just got like 10 times worse because McDowell, a guy that runs in the mid pack, a guy that runs barely in the top 20, won a race. Oh great, he's gonna be a run of 16 exit. I don't know, man. McDowell is on pace to have a career high season if he keeps on racing like this. If he keeps on racking the top 20, top 15 finishes, and he cuts down on the DNFs, then maybe Michael McDowell could actually be a sleeper to advance to the round of 12, and that would actually be really good if McDowell keeps on driving like this. If McDowell keeps on driving like this and he keeps on racking up the top 10, top 15s, then yeah, I can see him advancing to round of 12 with a little bit of luck, of course, because if it's about speed, even if Front Row Motorsports brings out their best equipment for McDowell, I seriously doubt he's going to be able to advance the round of 12 all by himself. He's going to need some luck, but as of right now, he is proving to all of us that he can be a pretty competent playoff driver. So, anyways, let's go talk about William Byron and Rudy Fugle. But first, yeah, I'm right. Yeah, I was right. Kevin Harvick and Michael McDowell are the only 2 drivers that have finished top 10 in every race, in all of the 3 races of the season. So, good for Michael McDowell, and also good for Kevin Harvick, I guess. But man, Michael McDowell is really surprising me to start the season. He's gonna be the biggest surprise to start the season, not only because of the Daytona 500 win, but also because of the fact that he's actually being pretty competent. Now, of course, this could be because of momentum. That Daytona 500 win could have given him momentum, but even then, you cannot discredit that for McDowell. He's on pace to have a career best season, and for once, he's gonna be remembered for something else other than his 2008 Texas qualifying crash. And anyways, William Byron and Rudy Fugle, what a combination. Of course, William Byron didn't have the best start to the season. He was involved in several. I believe he was involved in the big one in the Daytona 500, the first big one. Yeah, he was, and of course he didn't have the best race at the Daytona road course. So of course many people were expecting him to miss the playoffs because McDowell and Christopher Bell, 2 first-time winners, had actually won races which were gonna take off 2 playoff spots from William Byron. It was gonna make it harder for Byron to make it in, even on points. So of course Byron had to go out and win, and he actually won at Homestead on a 1.5-mile track. And I really want to talk about this because Hendrick Motorsports, and especially Roush Fenway Racing, shout out to Chris Buescher, he won stage 1 on speed. He didn't use any strategy calls. There wasn't any luck involved. He just straight up beat Brad Keselowski to win stage 1. He just beat him on speed. A Roush car beat a Penske car in 2021 to win a stage. What even is this? What year is this? Is this 2007? Like, Hendrick and Roush, 2 teams that have been barely mid-pack teams, the 24 and the 17. two teams that have been mid-pack largely for the for the for the for the latter half of the 2010s. The 24 and the 17 have been mid-pack rides. The 24 hadn't won a race ever since Jeff Gordon retired, until William Byron won at the 2020 Daytona race. That was the first time the 24 car had won since Jeff Gordon's 2015 Martinsville win. And now the 24 car wins again, just 13 races later. That 24 car wins again. And the 17, I swear, this is like the best race I've seen the 17 from. The best non-super speedway race I've seen out of the 17. Even if they faded at the end of stage 3, even if they were just a factor during stage 1, it was great to see the 17 car up front. It really shows the potential that Chris Buescher has, because many people tend to forget that Chris Buescher is an Xfinity champion. He beat out Chase Elliott to win an Xfinity championship. So Chris Buescher, he has potential. He has talent. The problem is that Roush has never, it's about time that Roush Fenway starts to build around Chris Buescher, because he is their guy. He's not going to be a guy that's going to elevate a team like a Kurt Busch or a Kyle Larson, but if you build around him properly, maybe he can get you a few playoff berths. Maybe he can get you a round of 12 appearance at best. But of course, Chris Buescher is like a great... he is the piece that could put Roush Fenway back on the map. Now from there, I don't know what you could do with him. But Chris Buescher is a great building block, a great starting point for Roush Fenway to revive themselves, to revive their program. And go back from mid-pack back to maybe top 10 or championship contention. Of course, it's gonna be a big road for them. It's gonna be an uphill climb for them. But if some team can do that, it's Roush Fenway Racing. I want Roush to do good again. I really want them to. Now, of course, we got to talk about Rudy Fugle. How did Toyota let Rudy Fugle go? I know he was a Truck Series crew chief for Kyle Busch Motorsports, but he was their best crew chief at Kyle Busch Motorsports. He was the best Truck Series crew chief that Toyota had, and they just let him go just like that. Also, isn't it kind of funny that it was Chevrolet who also took William Byron away from Toyota? They also took Eric Jones. They also have Daniel Suarez. They have Noah Gragson too. They have several. Chevrolet has several former Toyota drivers. I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't know how to feel about that. It's pretty funny, but yeah. That William Byron Rudy Fugle pairing has a ton of potential. Rudy Fugle might just help keep building on what Chad Canals led the groundwork for. It's like Chad Canals laid the groundwork for William Byron, and then Rudy Fugle is just going to keep going from there, and it's gonna help him reach his peak, hopefully. I really want to see a breakout season for William Byron, and I believe that with Rudy Fugle now and the speed that he showed at Homestead, I believe he can do that at other 1.5 mile tracks. Man, this season has been full of surprises. 2 first-time winners, 1 underdog. Then at Xfinity, we saw Ty Gibbs and Myatt Snyder win. Man, this 2021 season, if 2020 was a year of pain, then 2021 is a year of surprise. And just, man, when NASCAR marketed, when Fox, I remember watching Fox commercial about NASCAR advertising the Daytona 500, how was gonna be their best season ever. They weren't lying, man. This really is the best season ever. Although I gotta ask, how much unpredictability is good for NASCAR? Because at some point, if there is too much parity, then the playoffs are gonna be a crapshoot. If everyone has only 1 or 2 wins, and there are more than 16 winners in the season, how is that gonna work? I don't know, but for now, I'm just enjoying this season. The playoff battle is gonna be really, That playoff bubble is gonna be really crowded, man. If some guys don't start winning now. Anyways, review over.